This video is to explain and define and encapsulate the project called Fortress Israel. At the moment, it is to summarize the basis of the concept, which is at the same time a platform, an operating system, an idea, an educational system, but it's also an investment fund that's going to back this up, which we'll come to later. Project Israel, first of all, has to be defined. What is Israel? What does it stand for? And why does it need supporting? And what is its place? Fortress Israel, because if there's a question of what's going to be after the current conflict, and of course, what does conflict mean? Where is it? And who's behind it? And why? Which, of course, is justified by our explanations and the history of what is Israel, and who has the right to be here. Fortress Israel is how to live here in safety, building a safe and a sustainable place for people to flourish and to not just survive, but to thrive going forward, because Israel, as a people, as a nation, as a concept, is the basis of life in this universe and in this planet, proven by the disproportionate amount of technologies, innovations, Nobel Prizes, and otherwise that the entire progressive world is based on. So that's just a fact. Both for profit and not for profit, the world is based on Israeli technology, wisdom, tenacity, and the survival instinct, which is what makes Israel Israel. So, what is Israel? Israel is a concept. Its source is biblical because that's where it comes from. It is the representation of the fact that above and beyond our own moral codes that are very, very subjective, there is a divine or a higher code that if we all find a common moral ground or basic universal truths that we can all get along with, then that is a way to hold each other accountable, because there's always an eye that sees, there's always something being recorded, and an ear that's listening, and all of our actions are being measured. Today, that's a fact based on technology. Until now, it was a faith. So faith and technology have come to one where we have Fortress Israel. Fortress Israel is the place where all this technology is being developed, taught, and innovated, and now it's time to make it where it can create a society where we can live in peace. What for? Because again, Israel is a concept that promotes life and sustainability for everyone universally. Israel was the concept that Abraham, our forefather, everyone's forefather who believes in a one unifying God, that believes in life, that his principles were to be merciful, to be compassionate, and to do kindness. In other words, don't do harm, do good if you can, and ask if you're not sure. This is the basic operating system that we believe is the Torah. This is the Torah of Israel, the laws of Israel. Torah meaning the ongoing, evolving lessons to teach these things. That is Israel. So Israel is a concept. It's a Torah that was taught to Abraham, who learned it instinctively. He taught it to his children. Ishmael learned it in the way that he did, but Isaac learned it in the way that he did. Both of them learned it from different sides. Then Isaac's children, one of them learned it, who was Esav. The other one, he learned it his way, and then Jacob learned it his way. And Jacob, when he learned how to teach it onward, he was granted the blessing of being named Israel because he fought the angel, meaning the ultimate prosecution of judgment. He was holier than the angel in a certain way. He justified getting the Torah. He changed his name to Israel, meaning God changed his name to Israel, and is given the children with which to build an ecosystem and a sustainable resource-based economy based on covenantal relationships, meaning 12 tribes, which are 13, to manage the assets which were Israel and eventually the world. What does that mean? Well, Moses, before he was allowed to grant the children of Israel, which after the exile in Egypt learned the hard way how to live and work with other people in exile, in memory of that, we were supposed to go to Israel, learn from our mistakes, and build a sustainable country together, which lasted. And then it lasted to the point of King Solomon being able to build a temple that was an example to the world, with the richest and the most informative and the most luminary to the world. It was the Torah and the land of Israel. And then through greed and other things, it became a civil war, which led to the split of the nations of Israel to the nation of Judah, with a bit of Levi, and then against the rest of Israel. And that's where Judaism was born. But Judah's role in the nation of Israel when it's thriving is to represent as princes, the children of the king, as princes. What does it mean to manage resources? Where Levi and Levi is there to teach and police on a different level and rehabilitate. And the rest of the nation is the resource-based economy to share the skills that we all learn. So that's Israel. Fast forward several generations and several empires, because we were exiled thanks to the Greeks and the Romans and all the other ones in between, until the Ottomans, which took over after the Romans and whoever else was in between, were conquered by the British, who picked the Romans' terminology for the land, Palestine, because the Philistines, which of course King David, whose son built the temple, defeated the Philistines. It was this weird, ironic twist of which name to pick on the land, but that was the land for the map. But it was given back to the people of Israel in the land of Israel to follow the laws of Israel, because the traditional history of the kingdom of David, which was from the tribe of Judah, which represented Judaism for all of the children of Israel. So here we are, and then the state was supposed to be reconstituted for us, and then of course the rest is for someone to read the book, The Serendipitous Evolution of the Balfour Declaration of November 1917, written by Dr. Paul Goldstein, which is how we came to this point now. So Dr. Paul Goldstein is sponsoring, or the focus of this podcast, and everything I've said until now is a summary of our discussions, me being his son and one of his main students, to pass on the legacy. So using that as a historical background of where things went wrong to restore our claim, we have to understand that the Palestinians have absolutely no claim. They don't exist. The Palestinians are the collateral damage of the difference of the people of Israel, identified as the Jews, coming back to our traditional homeland, coming up to opposition because Hitler made deals with the Grand Mufti, not liking the settlement that the British mandate had to give everyone back their place, decided to make human casualties and human sacrifices and human weapons. This people called the Palestinians, they created the refugee crisis. Israel accepted whoever wanted to become Israelis, and that's why there's a thriving Israeli Arab population. And the Arabs, who didn't want to accept their people, created this Palestinian population and continued using them as human shields, human weapons, and human sacrifices. They created the Palestinian population. So the question is, forward, there can be no Palestinian rule over these Palestinian people and the current rule unless there's a recognition of who we are, what we are as the children of Israel coming back to the land of Israel, with the laws of Israel, that if they follow the laws of Israel, they can have their own place here. Under our rule, which we can make unanimously objective with AI, but that's a whole other discussion, but that's what the fund of Fortress Israel is all about. But Fortress Israel is the operating system with which we can live going forward. We, meaning anyone who wants to live in Israel, with Israel, for Israel, at peace with Israel, or represent Israel even abroad. So however you represent satellite ambassadors, consuls, representatives, whether it's from a perspective of Judaism tradition or whether it's a perspective of Zionism and politics, it has to be for the unifying claim, reinforcing our claim as being the light unto the nations, being the ones who are teaching how everyone can live through science and technology and getting along, which is what the Nobel Prize represent. And right now, with this proposal, we should be able to have a Nobel Peace Prize right now and all the other prizes, because implementing our solutions is the way to move forward. So that's the platform that we want to build a new system going forward, and that's Project Fortress Israel. Now, I believe that's a summary of the discussion that we had live. I hope that we'll be able to retrieve the recordings, but I hope and pray that this will be a good enough summary for you. It took 9 minutes. Just so you should know, there's another video I have to send, which is other people that are teaming on this, which I want to keep more personal, so I will not mention the names, which I will send you separately, to commemorate different events that came together today. So this is Project Fortress Israel. Please send me your comments.